Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to a brand new video today for a different video that I normally do. It's a video that I'm going to be telling my favourite players from 2021-22 season who have played for their clubs this season, who have done really well, and obviously to get in this top 15, possibly a double one as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. So I'm going to start off with number 15, then so on, then going on to number 3, number 2, and then number 1. But the number 1 is a double one. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. So I'm going to start from number 15. So to start off my number 15, I'm going to London for this, and that is Harry Smith, who plays for Leyton Orient. He used to play for Northampton Town last season. He's done really well there. He's done really well at Leyton Orient at the moment this season. Obviously, he scored 11 goals, with 2 goals in the FA Cup. Then 2 goals were against Tranmere Rovers, and the goals that he did score against us, they were good goals. Obviously, he has pace. He's got a good control and balance with him. He's a good player, and that is why I'm putting him as my number 15. He's a good player. He's got good control on the ball, and he's a good player, really good. So obviously, with 11 goals this season, it's really good for him. So obviously, he didn't really do much when we played against them in the home game in the league, because Tranmere Rovers only won 1-0 in that game. But at the moment, from what I've seen of him, he's a good player. So going on to my number 14 now. My number 14 is a player that plays for Harrogate Town. Harrogate Town have been in League 2 for 2 seasons now, which is a great, fantastic for them. So I'm going to have for number 14 is Josh Falkingham, who is a midfield and a captain. He's a good player. Obviously, he's really good on the ball. He's good at control. He's good at movement. He's good at balance. And obviously, he's a great player. Obviously, when he played against Tranmere Rovers, he was absolute everywhere against us. Everywhere. Obviously, getting stuck in and everything. A bit like Jay Spearing. But yeah, I thought he was phenomenal when he played against us. Done really well. Obviously, they did get a penalty against us at their place, which I was there, and obviously I did get the clip of their penalty of the goal, but it's one of them. I just thought he's a great player, but the only thing about him, I know he doesn't score goals as much. He's only scored 1 goal, and that was in the FA Cup. So that is Josh Falkingham, and that is my number 14. So going on to number 13 now. So let's see who that is. So number 13 is a player who is called Mighty J, plays for Exeter City. He is their captain. He's scored 12 goals this season, and he's a great midfielder from what I've seen of him. He did play really well against Tranmere Rovers from when I went and last seen him, and he's been really good for them this season. And obviously watching his goals, they were really good. Obviously long range shots, passes. His passes are phenomenal from what I've seen of him. And yeah, he's just a really good player, and he's just got everything in a player that what you need. So I really do like him the way he plays, and I would love him at Tranmere Rovers. I know it won't happen, but you never know. In years to come, he could possibly be coming to Tranmere Rovers. You never know, but I would love him at Tranmere. But this is my only opinion, what I think. But yeah, I think he's a really good player, and he's just got the urgency and the everything about him. And he is a really good player. He's tactical, and he knows where the ball is every time, because he's a really good player. So going on to number 12. So my number 12 is a player called Alex Newby, who plays for Rochdale. He's only scored 5 goals this season, but he's a great player from what I've seen. He did really play well. He played really well last weekend against Tranmere Rovers. He got into the game really well and really quickly. And possibly he could have had a goal in the game last Saturday, which Tranmere Rovers did win 2-0, which was a good result for us. But yeah, he was a really good player, and when Tranmere Rovers did play them was it last week? Not last week. The last in September. September just happened. He did really play. He played really well. He created so many chances in that game against us, and yeah, he's one of them pickpocketers. Like, you just want a goal, and his crosses were decent enough, and yeah, he was just really, he was at it all the time on Saturday against Tranmere. So yeah, that's why I'm putting him as my number 12. So my number 11 is Jamal Matt, who used to play for Newport County, who's a great footballer and one of the players that I really look up to because he's a great player. He's got great mentality, he's got a great pace, he scores goals. I know he's only like 32 years of age, but he's still got it. Obviously, he plays for Forest Green now. Forest Green are on a good run of form. They're in a great position, who are top of the league. But they've got a good player in there, Jamal Matt, who has scored 11 goals this season, which is phenomenal for him. So he's a great player. He's got everything that you need in a striker. So I would love him at Tranmere, obviously, like another one like him, because he's a great player and he's got everything that what a striker needs. So yeah, going on to my number 10 now. So going on to my number 10 now. Number 10 is Brandon Thomas Asante. Thomas Asante is one of the best players I've seen as a winger. Obviously, he's only young, he's rapid, he's quick. He's got everything that what a player needs. Obviously, I've seen him in the past few weeks. Obviously, we played Salford last weekend. He played okay in that game against Tranmere Rovers, but he does score goals. He scores quite a few goals for Salford so far this season. He scored 6 goals and he scored 2 in the Papa John's. So he's a great player. He's got good pace on him. He's got the mentality. He's got the quickness, and that's what a player needs. And I would absolutely love this guy at Tranmere Rovers. I really would, because he's got everything what a winger needs. And yeah, it's just one of them. And obviously, having him at Salford, obviously, I don't know what to think of it, because Salford did this and that, this shit. But yeah, he's a good player, and obviously Salford have got a good player in him. And obviously they were thinking of getting rid of him a few years, like 2 seasons back. I'm just like, I'd take him. He's a great player for Tranmere Rovers. Just imagine, what's his name, Kieran Morris and Thomas Asante on the wing, or put him up front. That would be decent. Him and Nevitt or Jolly, possibly. That would be insane. And I would just love it, because the quickness of him is amazing. He's absolute rapid. And that's what you need in play, quickness. That's what I like about him. He's a good player. So going on to my number 9 is Davis Caledon, who plays for Oldham. His former club was Wrexham, but he's a great striker. Obviously for Oldham, he's really good. He's got quickness, he's got everything. He scores some great goals from what I've seen. Obviously, the one against Forest Green was a good goal. And everything he's got, he's one of their best players. He's scored about 3 goals in the cup games. I'm sure one of them cup games were against Tranmere Rovers, because we've played them about 3 times now. Obviously, in the league, in the Carabao Cup. Was it Carabao Cup? Carabao Cup and Papa John's. So I'm sure he did score in one of them games. I'm not, or possibly he scored a penalty. But from what I've seen of him, he's a really good player, and definitely a player that I won't be surprised if he goes to a bigger club than Oldham, because if Oldham get relegated this season, he will go definitely, from what I'm sure of it. But it would be good to see him going to a bigger club, because I think he'll get a load of goals at that level. So yeah, I'm going to be going on to my number 8 next. So going on to my number 8 now. This is a player that always scores against Tranmere Rovers, and he is a great player, and that is Sam Hoskins, who plays for Northampton Town, who is a great player. He's got everything that what a player needs, and he scores all the time against Tranmere, and he even scored against us this season when they beat us 2-0 at Prenton Park. He hasn't scored a goal in the cup games, but he's a great player. He's a good midfielder. He's tactical. He scores goals. He plays well. He's a right winger, and that's all you need in a winger. Pace and everything is what you need. So I'm excited to watch him because he's a great player. Obviously, when Tranmere do play Northampton in March, well, it'd be good to see him play, obviously, because he's a great player. So looking at that, wow, he's good, really good. Obviously, he's got the technique and everything. So yeah, going to be going on to my number 7 now. So going into my number 7, it's going to be number 7, Kieran Morris. Kieran Morris has been unbelievable for Tranmere Rovers this season. Absolutely incredible. His assists and his goals. I know he's only scored 4 goals, but they've been worthwhile. They've been meaningful, because the goals he did score were against Carlisle United and Salford City, and they were 2 penalties for Tranmere Rovers, and they weren't the greatest of pens, but the ball went in the net, and that's the main thing you want out of a player. Scores goals, scores penalties and everything, but his work rate is excellent. Obviously, his crosses are even unbelievable, and he's got to be one of the best players for Tranmere Rovers this season, from what I think. Obviously, I've got his shirt just over there in the side, which is the purple shirt, and he's an incredible player from what I've seen of him. Obviously, people have given he wasn't great last season or the season before, but this season he's been unbelievable, and he's great to watch as a guy. He's great to watch. He's a nice guy as well, and he's just one of them players that you just want to see him score and score and score. So obviously, me being a Tranmere fan, it means everything that watching a great player like Kieran Morris is. So going to be going on to my number 6 now. Here is another Harrogate Town player in Leauge Armstrong. Leauge Armstrong has been unbelievable this season for Harrogate Town. He is a great striker. He's only scored 11 goals this season, but them 11 goals of the season were fantastic. Obviously, when Harrogate were in the league this season, they were doing really well in the league. Obviously, they were scoring goals left, right and centre. They were winning games. They were beating teams that you don't normally beat. Obviously, like the big teams and everything, which is really good for them. Obviously, Harrogate, his pace, he's a great striker. And obviously, if he went to a different, bigger club, what a player he would be at that club. And he's a great player to watch. Obviously, he did score against Tranmere Rovers in the 2-2 draw after their place, and it was a good game against Harrogate. Obviously, he's got everything that what you need. His header against Tranmere was a good header, to be honest, from what I could see. But yeah, obviously talking about Leauge Armstrong, Harrogate Town have got a great team in them. They've got a great spirit in the players, in the team, and their fans are okay. But obviously, I know it's only a small ground, but the fans are real good at their ground. So yeah, going into number 5. Going into my number 5 is Mikey Stevens, who plays for Forest Green. He's a great striker. He's one of the best for Forest Green. Done really well with Jamal Matt. He's had a great season, obviously, because Forest Green are top of the league as it stands at the moment. That is only at the moment, but he scored 18 goals, which is fantastic for him. And his last goal was against Northampton Town, and they drew 1-1. But watching him play, he's a great player. He scores goals for fun. He's another great player to watch out for. Obviously, Tranmere Rovers do play them in 2 weeks, which I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, seeing if they can score against us. But it will be a really tricky game against Forest Green, and it will be one of the biggest games for Tranmere Rovers this coming season. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. But looking out for him, he's a really good player. He's got really good courage. He's pacey. He scores goals, and he's a really great player. From what I've seen of him in the past few weeks, he's been amazing for them. So yeah, going on to number 4. So going into my number 4. My number 4 is Ollie Banks, who plays for Barrow. He signed for Barrow last season from Tranmere Rovers. The shirt I've got just over there, if you can see that, that is Ollie Banks' shirt from when we played Crawley like 2 seasons ago, when we did get promoted to League One, and then this season after we don't talk about that. But yeah, Ollie Banks, talking about Ollie Banks has scored 7 goals in the league for Barrow, who is a great player, great centre midfielder. I think he's a captain as well as a vice captain, and he scored 3 goals in the cup games, and especially one of them was against Barnsley, and that's where he's from. And his goal he did score against Barnsley was a 40-yarder, which was one of the best goals I've ever seen from Ollie Banks. Obviously, he did score a good goal, a great goal against Tranmere Rovers, a good goal for Tranmere Rovers when we played Forest Green in the playoffs semi-final first leg against Forest Green, which was amazing, remarkable. Obviously, to get promoted as well. But yeah, Ollie Banks is a great player. So if obviously he was at Oldham as well, but I don't get why Oldham think he was shit and everything. But Ollie Banks, what a player he was! What a player he was at Tranmere. In my eyes, I really wish we kept him, but you have Keith Hill to do that, don't you? To get rid of him. But yeah, I was like, why? But yeah, Ollie Banks, great player. He's got everything what you need. Great guy. And obviously he does score a load of screamers, a bit like Kieran Morris. So yeah, that is why Ollie Banks has to be in it, because he's been fantastic for Barrow this season. Obviously, Barrow have done some, have had good wins against a few other teams. Obviously, Tranmere did beat them 2-0, and he didn't play because I think he was suspended for that game. So, other than that, great player, and he's a great player to watch, and a great player if you sign him or whoever he goes to. He'll be a great player for you guys. So going on to my number 3. Who's going to be in my number 3? So my number 3, it's more difficult now because my number 2 and my number 3 are the same players. Well, not the same players, but the really good players to watch, and obviously they've both been scoring goals. So my number 3 is Harry McCurdy, who plays for Swindon. He scored 2 goals in the FA Cup. I'm not too sure who was the first one against, but the second one was against Manchester City, which was a great goal from him. And the other thing is, he scored about 10 goals this season, and he's one of the players just to watch. He's a great player. He was at Port Vale last season. He wasn't that good for Port Vale, but what a player he is for Swindon. Really good. And Swindon have got some great players in themselves with a Wales player, can't remember his name, but they've got a Wales player who actually plays in their team, in the international team. So yeah, Harry McCurdy is a great player, great striker. From his goals are crazy, and when Tranmere play Swindon next month, I do think that will be a really tricky game. Obviously, I hope Tranmere do win the game, but it will be a tricky game. But obviously, you want to play the best players, don't you? So I'd be really looking forward to seeing what happens next month when we play Swindon Town at home. I think it's the 8th of February we play them. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what happens. So that is my number 3. So going to be going into my number 2 now. Right, my second one. This is number 2. This guy who used to play for Plymouth Argyle, plays for Newport County. His name is Dominic Telford, and to think about it, he scored 19 goals this season. Remarkable, fantastic. What? And he's a tiny player, and he's a fantastic player to watch. Obviously, his goals. He scored a hat-trick against Stevenage a few weeks back. What a player. And obviously, to watch him play, it's a great thing. Because obviously, for Newport County fans, it's great to watch. Obviously, you can't watch it now because you can't go to the game because it's in Wales at the moment. But it's fantastic to see what happens. And obviously, I think we play them in February, so that'll be really tough. And obviously, I'm hoping that Tranmere fans can go next month, because obviously, unless the lockdown finishes with Wales, it will be good to see how he plays. And obviously, if Tranmere can win, but I think winning against Newport County would be really good, because I don't think Tranmere have actually won at Newport in the last 3 or 4 years. So it'd be really good to see what can happen. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see what actually happens in the next few weeks. If he can keep that winning, obviously the 19 goals, obviously that's fantastic. Scoring 19 goals this season, it's crazy. And then there's one goal. He scored 1 goal in the FA Cup, but 18 goals in the league. That's remarkable, fantastic. So good for him, innit? So yeah. So now going on to my number 1. I think you guys should know who this is, but you'll find out who it will be in a second. So, going to my number 1 now. Number 1. So, who is this? The Tranmere Rovers. There's 2 people in it. Peter Clark and Tom Davis. Tom Davis and Peter Clark have been unreal this season. They've been absolute fantastic. Tranmere Rovers have had 14 clean sheets this season, which is wow, amazing, fantastic. And Tranmere Rovers have only conceded 15 goals this season, which is even better, remarkable. And obviously, Tranmere Rovers, the amount of clean sheets we're getting, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Watching Tranmere Rovers play right now. Obviously, we only score maybe 1-0 or 2-0. I will take that all day long. But the way we are playing some good football, and that's what every team wants to have. Good football, good strategy, good energy. Fantastic Tranmere Rovers, and they deserve to be where they are now. Obviously, it would be even better if we were top of the league, but it could happen in the next few weeks, but we'll see what happens. But hopefully, we can carry on with this running form, obviously with the clean sheets, which is even better, fantastic. and we're just playing some good football. And obviously, Nevitt has played really well. Jolly, wow. Jolly is only 21 and he's scoring goals for fun. It's unbelievable. I think he scored about 3 or 4 goals this season. Obviously, from coming back from on loan from Chester. But Tom Davis has only scored 1 goal this season, and that was against Hartlepool. And Peter Clark scored 3 goals. Peter Clark was, at one stage, our highest goal scorer. And now it's crazy. It is absolute crazy. Because putting a defender as the best is fantastic. They have been excellent. Tom Davis has been amazing in every game. Every game. He's worked hard. He's fighting for the badge. He plays for the badge. And it's just everything to watch about him. He's an amazing player. Last season, the amount of times he was getting injured was obviously when he was at Bristol Rovers. It was like, you don't know what's going to happen with Tom Davis. But now, when he's at Tranmere, he hasn't been injured yet. And now since I've said that, something will fucking happen now, won't it? So, obviously, I'm made up for the way Tranmere are playing. But the form, we are on a good run of form. Mickey Mellon has got us up and running, which is a fantastic way we're playing. So, obviously, looking where we are now, can we keep that in the next 2 weeks and be still conceding less goals? Obviously, I think we've conceded the least goals in the whole England leagues. Obviously, you got Premier League, you got the League One, League Two, and the Championship. That's remarkable for Tranmere Rovers. Fantastic. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. So please like and subscribe if you are new. So for next time, I'll see you guys for Thursday's preview against Crawley. I am going to this game as well. So it'll be my 3rd time going to Crawley. So I think I'm only 19 away from 500. So if you guys can subscribe down below, you know, where down there, that'll be fantastic if you guys can do that. And especially give it a like, because I know all you Super White Army fans, you'll want to do that. So come on, you boys, up the right Super White Army.
I like Duncan's YouTube channel, it's brilliant.